One of the best things about fall is butternuts. So I gathered a couple shopping bags full of them, a couple 5-gallon pails probably, of them off a couple trees I have around. And so this is a butternut when they're green, pretty fresh off the tree. These ones have been sitting, they were all green when I picked them up. I picked them up every day off the ground, you know, fresh ones that had fallen. And so they're green, they're wicked sticky when they're very fresh. And they have little hairs and just like the sappiest. It's probably a lot similar to what the pine pitch is like, you know. It's very sticky. Once they've been around for a little while, they start turning black and they kind of dry out some. They get a little gooey. I mean, I had them in the house on the floor in the kitchen in the bags, and you know, the worms get into the shell. And you can see that's a little worm maggot that they get into the shell. They don't get through into the nut itself though. You know, this is one I just scraped the shell, the husk off of. So the nut itself is perfectly fine still in this stage. You can spread them out like this and just kind of let them dry. I like to take the husks off. You can see, and I'll show you. This is what they look like after their husks. You know, there's still a little. There's still a little bit of the husk hull on there. So this is. I tried a couple different methods. I had my old hoe here, and I was pushing them around like that across this graded screen. This is just a piece of diamond lath that I nailed onto some old 2x4s here, so that I could, you know, use the abrasive properties of the mesh, combined with raking them across and with some pressure on them, and bust the hulls off. They come off fairly easily, but then that took me like an hour to do that 5-gallon pail full there. So then I took a block of wood and just put another, I don't know if you can see that, put another little small square of mesh onto the bottom of it. And basically what you want to do is kind of just crush them, you know, and the hulls, you can see that turning. Okay, so it just damages the husk there, and it kind of comes right off fairly easy. The green ones, the ones that are still green, don't come off that easily, not as easily, but they will. You just have to use a little more brute force and ignorance on them. So that's the thing. So go through, crush them, get the hulls off. I mean, if they're wicked green and you're trying to do it, you know, some people say, you know, taking an old knife or something and trying to peel them, and I don't know. This seems easier. Then take your hose and spray them off, you know, I mean, spray them down. And you gotta do it a couple times here, you know, just to get the, don't worry about the worms and the maggots there. They're just in the shell, you know, so don't, or they're not in the shell, they're in the husk there, so just kind of do it like so. Spray them off like that, and that's kind of what you're left with, you know. I mean, I'm going to do this a couple more times and get them cleaned up a little better, but then I'm going to show you, you know, so the easiest way to crack I'll take a couple of them. The easiest way to crack one of these is in a vise. You know, if you try hitting it with a hammer, it shatters, and you know, the pieces split out and everything, smash into 100 little pieces, and you're trying to pick them out of the shell. So take a vise. See if I can do this one-handed here. I have zero place to set this camera down. Right here. See if we can get this in there. So take a vise. Come on. Okay, so take the vise. Put your butternut in there. Put it in there like that, from end to end. Like that, because there's actually two halves of the shell. And this, pretty much this seam, if you look at one of these, they're not round. Okay, they're not round this way, obviously, from end to end, but they're also not round in circumference. They're more of an oval, kind of a oval this way. And you can see this big ridge going through there is the half of the shell. Okay, so this top part is the half and the bottom part there is a half. So if you put them in there end to end, they'll crack like this, and you'll have the two halves. And it's not perfect every time, but more often than not, you get a good sized piece, if not the whole nut. So just go gentle here, and don't crank the crap out of it. Just there. You hear it crack? And I'm doing this one-handed, so it's a little hard to. So there it cracked. Let's see if I can get it out of there without. So there's the one half. There's the nut, right? This one looks like it might be still a little immature. So there is a fairly. Let's see if I can put this over here, because I should show you another one that I have. This is a. That is a butternut right there. That's perfect. You can see this one's lighter in color, and I think it's just. I don't think it means anything. It's just the skin doesn't look like it developed as good or something on it. Let's see if I can get it out of here without. Yeah, we got a lot. This one kind of broke a little bit, but you can get the idea there. And so that's what a butternut. And they're good. And you can let them set for a couple weeks before you crack them, but they're kind of still green now, and now is kind of a good time to crack them, because the I think the husk, the hull here will, or the shell will split easier while they're still a little green. So, but boy, they're good. They're we had a problem here in Vermont a decade ago. There's a canker that grows on the trees that's been wiping them out, and we'll do another one. And but the population seems to be doing okay. I mean, the state was looking for butternuts to plant and everything at one point, but they're kind of over. They stopped doing that and they're over it. And I think they realized that several trees, the majority of the trees, or at least a good number of them, are recover from the butternut canker and carry on. So to get that thing lined up, just like that, and then just slow pressure on it. And sometimes and my vise isn't bolted down here, so I'm trying to hold the camera with one hand, and I'm gonna put my knee on it here. And there it is. And there you have it. See, right in half. pull these two halves apart. There's your half shell. And almost a perfect knot. See if we can get this one out of here. There's a half anyways. And they're delicious. So, just for the hell of it, I'll take one. That one was a good one. Just for the hell of it, we'll take one and put it on. I'll show you. If we try and you can hold it up, you know, get your fingers in there and hold the damn thing up like that. I'd rather do it in a vise, but even if you try and there, now it cracked. Let's see what happens. Broke this way. All your nut is, it's snapped in half, and then you got to try and get a nut pick and pick it out. So, long ways in a vise. So I hope all y'all out there that have butternuts get to pick them up, and it's a pretty easy process once you get the hang of it. See ya, bye.